James Buster Douglas, 29 years old, Columbus, Ohio, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Well, if you're a sports fan, you know you've seen it dozens of times. How many times has a story so sentimental, so poignant, so emotionally powerful seemed to simply take over reality and tell itself? Surely the sentimentalist in all of us wanted to believe that in the wake of the death of his mother, amid the difficulties being suffered by the mother of his child, James Buster Douglas could step forth today with a performance unlike any other in his entire career and compete with Mike Tyson. Surely the realist in all of us said no, that wasn't really possible. But indeed it was possible, and it happened. And an inspired Buster Douglas thoroughly dominated Mike Tyson and courageously came back from an 8th-round knockdown to turn around and knock the champion out himself. Larry Merchant, it has to be one of the greatest and most memorable moments in the history of the sport.
Well, it certainly is. I wish it had been in the States after all this. But Buster Douglas is an athlete. He played football and basketball in high school. He had a scholarship as a power forward to a junior college. He has had some ability, and I was very moved by the way he said he did it also for his dad. His dad was a terrific, spirited fighter, middleweight and light heavyweight, and was never satisfied with his son, who seemed to be so casual about it. But for whatever human reason possible, for someone to surpass his own ability, to surpass anything that he can ever do before, in this moment, at this moment, that's what makes this sport so terrific.
Incidentally, you're probably wondering if we are going to hear from Mike Tyson. We sent our Sugar Ray Leonard to follow Tyson to his dressing room to seek an interview with the former heavyweight champion, and Ray has been turned down. So apparently Mike will have nothing to say to us on this live telecast about his devastating 10th round knockout defeat today at the hands of the new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, James Buster Douglas, a fight that I have already called the biggest upset in the history of heavyweight championship boxing history, and which Larry has gone me one better with by calling it the biggest upset in boxing history.
You know, Jim, I was just reminded, I've gone to the Tokyo Fish Market, which is one of the greatest spectacles on earth. As far as you can see, huge frozen tuna, because the Japanese love tuna so much. And going into this fight, I thought, or when I was down there looking at it, I thought, well, Buster Douglas is just another frozen tuna. The guy there that doesn't have, we've never seen him with this much life, this much animation, this much determination. But boxing is the theater of the unexpected, and when you least expect it, we had the unexpected.
Speaking of unexpected, and why you never take anything for granted in a prize fight, Larry, look at these judges' scores. To the point in the bout at which Douglas knocked Tyson out, one judge, Larry Rosadilla of the United States, had Buster Douglas leading 88-82. But look at this. One Japanese judge, Morita, had Tyson leading 87-86. Hard for us to imagine what fight he was watching. The other Japanese judge had the fight even, 86-86. So if it had continued that way through the last 2 rounds, there was at least a chance of a draw or even a decision in favor of Mike Tyson, which I think we'll both agree would have been thoroughly unjust.
And the biggest injustice in the history of boxing if that had happened. I just think, judging from the reaction of the crowd here, is that they just couldn't believe what they were seeing. I mean, the Japanese basically came out to see Michael Jackson, Madonna, the Rolling Stones. They came out to see a great performance by a star on the world stage. And it just couldn't get their minds clicked into what they were seeing. And that's why I said earlier in the fight, early on, before the show, the importance of expectations in a fight, and that how that shapes what you're watching. Sometimes it takes a long time to believe what you're actually seeing in a prize fight.
In case you've just joined us, you missed a shocker. The once undefeated and undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson, is no more. 37-1 now instead of 38-0. He was knocked out 23 seconds into the 10th round by a journeyman named James Buster Douglas, who now, at age 29, a few weeks after the death of his mother, and in the wake of learning about the life-threatening illness of the mother of his child, came up with the most inspired performance of his boxing career, and is now the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.